Well, happening now, we start with a little politics today. Hillary Clinton has taken one of the largest leads ever in an early primary matchup, according to at least one new poll. We have a few to take a look at. Great to see you, everybody. I'm Jenna Lee.
I'm John Scott. The latest Washington Post poll shows the former Secretary of State as the clear Democratic frontrunner by a 6-to-1 margin. Mrs. Clinton polls at 73%, with her closest rival, Vice President Joe Biden, at 12%. Massachusetts Senator Elizabeth Warren, who has been discussed as a potential challenger, is third with 8%. The Republican field, meanwhile, is wide open. Let's talk about this early polling with Nina Easton, senior editor and Washington columnist for Fortune magazine, as well as a Fox News contributor. Jamie Weinstein is senior editor of the Daily Caller. We have been here before, Nina. Mrs. Clinton was the clear front runner leading into the 2008 elections, and something happened. Is there anything different this time?
Well, there is. And by the way, John, I say this in all humility because I actually was part of that chorus back in 2007, basically going into 2008, thinking that Hillary Clinton was going to be the nominee. I was obviously completely wrong. But there's a big difference this time around. And the difference makes me think that it is hers for the taking if she wants it. The difference are the numbers. I mean, she was just at about 50%. In 2008 going into the primaries. Now, as you just showed, 73%. And there really isn't anybody, there isn't a Barack Obama in the field as a likely challenger. Yes, we underestimated him in 2008, but it's hard to see any of these other candidates coming anywhere near her. Now, I definitely think there will be some noise from the left. There will be a candidate on the left. But like I said, I really think if she decides, and that's still a big if, although I think she's probably leaning in that direction, she looks like very much the nominee. All
right, a couple of polls, a couple of screens to show you before we get to Jamie. Take a look at these latest ABC News Washington Post poll numbers. Well, this is going back to 2008, taking a look at where she stood in 2006. This was a little before what you just mentioned, Nina, in 2006. So roughly this point in the process 8 years ago, she was at 39%. Right now, she's at 73% versus Joe Biden's 12%. So clearly she has almost doubled the numbers that she had back then. Does it mean, Jamie, that she is the inevitable Democratic nominee?
Well, it's certainly not inevitable. It's not clear yet she's going to run. It looks like she's setting in motion that she will. But, you know, remember, right before she left Secretary of State, she had that hospital visit. We don't really know how well her health is. She looks good these days, going out and doing the speaking circuit. But we don't know exactly what that all was all about. And we haven't seen her really attacked yet, laid a glove on some of her record. What did she exactly do as Secretary of State? No one can really defend her record there. She traveled a lot. And of course, there's Benghazi, the State Department, the Senate report a couple weeks ago laying blame for the lack of security there on the State Department. So she has these high poll numbers, but she has not yet been touched. Though I do agree with Nina that if she does run, she is the prohibited favorite. But as you mentioned, you know, she was the favorite last time, and something happened on the way to the coronation.
Yeah. Nina, you say that all of this is potentially bad news for Republicans. Specifically, why? I mean, they will come up with a nominee no matter how crowded the field might seem right now.
Because I just look at 2012. It was a very bloody primary battle, and it left the Republican nominee, Mitt Romney, not only bloodied but broke going into the general and up against a sitting president. Now, there isn't a sitting president this time around, but, you know, you go up against your opponent, your Democratic opponent, who hasn't had to spend that level of money, who hasn't been beat up on that level. And I think Hillary Clinton, those issues that Jamie raised about Benghazi and the State Department, those may be issues for the general election, but I think in terms of the Democratic primary voters, she's somebody who's been vetted. She's been a presidential candidate. People know her. They're familiar with her. We're not going to learn a lot about her, and it's very much in her interest, by the way, not to declare her candidacy for a very long time, just to wait to the last minute.
And it's also possible that the groundswell of support for a female president might make a huge difference among a lot of voters. Jamie, what if she doesn't run, though? what happens to the Democratic field? Jamie, I don't know if you're able to hear me. Oh, we just lost Nina. I guess this is going to be a bit of a one-sided discussion because it looks like we just lost our satellite connection to Jamie. Okay, no, and we do have Jamie back. All right, Jamie Weinstein, what if Hillary Clinton were to decide not to run? What happens to the Democratic field?
Well, I think that they're in disarray. There's no clear front runner. You have a series of people that could step up. Cory Booker, I know he just got to the Senate, but he might try to mount a campaign. You have Andrew Cuomo in New York. But to Nina's point that she's been vetted, I agree to a certain extent. But there's a lot of issues out there that have not yet been fully vetted. And those are to the dealing with the Clintons' financial dealings post-presidency. And there's a lot of issues out there. I know there's books coming out on it. And we'll see what those raise. So I think there's still a lot to be vetted.